Hello, and I'm coming straight back to you with another video here on my channel. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lee, and I just wanted to go and actually post the review because I've been doing a lot on Captain Marvel. I've been doing a lot with reviewing this movie, answering SJ, all of this jazz. It gets exhausting. So I'm back to the basics, the bread and butter, the thing that I like to do, which is reviews here for you guys on the channel. So I know that some people have slipped and dipped in this show, which is The Walking Dead. Me, I hold out hope. I always hold out hope that the next season will be better than the previous one. And why I say because this show started off as probably one of the best, if not the best, iterations in the zombie genre. And as it went on, it had a problem where the seasons, as they lost villains and people, it kind of dipped and the quality dipped and the writers went through stuff. And so we're all the way up to season 9. And if you haven't watched it up, you really don't have to, okay? You can actually watch the last episodes of season 8, like watch the last one with the death of Jesus, and then kind of pick up this one. So my favorite arc, and this has been debated amongst us comic people, but my favorite arc is actually the Whisperers. They're creepy because they built a community within the zombies. And they wear masks that are of zombies on their face. And so I found out recently that they brought one of my favorite and most interesting, who they totally botched in the comics towards the end, but he was interesting throughout, and his name is Beta. And if you don't know, these people have built like a class system. So the Alpha is the head of this group, and the Beta protects them. And then I believe there's an Omega, or there's someone underneath that, kind of like what wolves do with their classes. So this starts off with a major death and with this new group. And really, this war is about a territorial thing. The group has wandered because they've been expanding into other people's domains. And the Whisperers are broken people. When this apocalypse happened, this alpha figure came and said that instead of living amongst the people, we need to live amongst the zombies because that was the only way to survive. And lo and behold, their little group was thriving. They've even learned how to control and manipulate the herds of zombies where they want them to go, which I always thought was pretty clever. I always thought to myself, why didn't anyone do that with all of these groups that you have popping up and warring? So these guys are warring, and there's been back and forth between these different kind of groups, and the groups are having dissension. If you don't know, it was a big thing. Some people just watched it for this, but Andrew Lincoln left, who is Rick Grimes. So we're basically down to Michonne, Ezekiel for the Kingdom, and then we have for the Saviors. I actually forget who's representing the Saviors. They don't talk about them much, but it's the Kingdom, the Saviors, and Alexandria, kind of all working together. So the problems start where they encroach upon their thing. They kill a bunch of zombies and a bunch of these guys' people. They lose Jesus. Anyone who followed the show, even a bunch of years back to when they got to Alexandria, knows Jesus has been a main character now for a couple of years. And he dies in the most chilling and epic way. I did a review on it. This one episode, if you don't care about The Walking Dead whatsoever, I don't fault you. It's gotten bad. But this one episode was by far the best episode of Walking Dead I think the series has had in a very long time. And if they keep the structure like this episode, wow, they could pull this thing literally from the dead. Okay, so everyone who knows Daryl. Daryl is one of the BA characters in this world. Daryl is everyone's favorite. He was never created in the comics, but we all love him because the person who plays him, one of my personal favorite actors, he does a phenomenal job playing this character. But Daryl is this country boy. He's got a dog named Dog now. He takes care of the community. He goes out and scouts, whatever. During the episode, these whisperers are attacking people and killing them, taking them hostage, yada, yada, yada. They have a whole big thing. They have to go and get the protege of Daryl back from these people in their encampment last week. Long story short, you don't need to see the episode. It was quite boring. I suffered through it for you. Now, swig of water. I hate drinking on screen. Anyways, now, here's where it gets interesting. So the Whisperers have had their camp infiltrated, but Alpha, who is later revealed to be this broken lady who has essentially gone crazy, shaved her head bald, and she's the leader of this group. Beta, if you guys know Sons of Anarchy, is played by that really big dude with the long goatee. He was a friend of Jax Taylor. Anyone who watched that will know what I'm talking about. He plays Beta. Perfect cast. He is very imposing, very tall. Good with fight scenes from Sons of Anarchy and various other shows. So, setting that up, they have let these people recapture this kid. Don't really like him. He has something to do with Carol. It's a long, pointless storyline. But anyways, they also took Alpha's daughter, who she is hinted to have abused both mentally and physically. So the son of Carol says, I'm not leaving without her. They take her, and she goes with them. Of course, Alpha is very smart and uses this as a way to go and attack the group. So Alpha sends Beta and a bunch of people with zombies being herded to hunt them down. And here is the episode I've waited for where it got really interesting. These people are quite literally using zombies to their advantage, and they herd these small groups to get them to go where they want to go. They use the zombies as a distraction, hide in the zombies, and then jump out at you and start taking you out. And you can't tell which is a zombie and which is a person because of how they move. They move exactly like them. And this is a great concept. It doesn't work very well in comics, but it works great on screen. And this is why adapting them, we've wanted this for years. Because on screen, you can show the little details that you can't show in comics. This is where that format translates well. So, long story short, they corner them in this like little industrial complex, and Daryl goes, I'll buy you guys time. You guys got to run. Yada, yada, yada. The rest of the stuff going on in the episode is pointless and it's not important. But the last like 25 minutes of the show, oh my goodness. Hold on, another coffee break. Okay, the last 25 minutes of this is the best fight scene I've ever seen. So Daryl's a country boy, and he uses a trademark crossbow on the zombies. He normally goes for the head, but this guy has made him upset. So they're in a construction building, okay? I'm going to lay it out for you. They're in a abandoned, like, construction top floor of this building because Beta has essentially trapped Daryl. And both of these guys are the muscle, essentially, in their respective groups. Daryl does the tracking and the hunting down of people and things like that. So essentially, you could call him like the guy who does the dirty work, okay? But in a nice way. Beta straight up does the dirty work. Like, someone needs to be handled, someone needs to be taken out. He's the guy so Alpha doesn't get her hands dirty. Now, these two meet, and they make it so epic. The camera angles are extraordinary. They zoom out, and you see, like, these two. It's almost like a battle of titans, a battle of ideals. They're both on opposite ends. And Daryl starts it out very fast-paced. Like, there's a moment to pause so you can take the scene in, and then, bam, he shoots an arrow at Beta shoots him in his knee, shoots him in the kneecap. Dude pulls out the arrow, and I don't mean he breaks it in him and keeps it in there. No, this dude literally pulls the arrow out of his knee, breaks it over said knee that was injured, keep in mind, and just looks at him. And Daryl just has this look like, right? So he charges at him. And then Beta charges at him. And like a Superman movie, like Man of Steel when Zod and Superman charge at each other, because that was like one of my favorite scenes. I didn't like how it ended, but I like that whole clash thing. They clash. And this dude is like 6-something. You could tell he's pretty muscular. You know, he works out. Picks Daryl up and flings him. Now, Daryl has been in numerous fights, and people have gotten the best of him in numbers. They've jumped him and things like that. But you've never seen someone take him one-on-one with such ease. So to see Daryl be flung across the way is quite a sight. It's like, wow. You really get the sense that he is truly outmatched in this situation. And he has nowhere to go. They're literally fighting on like the second or third floor. So it's a long way down. There's no exits, okay? This is essentially the definition of a death match, okay? They are fighting until one of them is not breathing. So Daryl comes out, right? He's got his machete, takes it out, starts swinging it. Dude, for being 6-something and having a bad knee, is moving like a boss. I've never seen a big guy move that quickly. Okay, he's got some speed. But what really sells the fight, one thing that Walking Dead does well, and they did this in one of the seasons when Negan had to fight one of his people who was trying to rebel against him, the camera work that they do with the fight scenes and the choreograph is amazing. I watched the behind the scenes. This literally took them like 2 days to film this scene. There's a lot of fight work, and the actors did their own stunts for the most part. So they learned how to fall and all that jazz. And like, it's a brutal knockdown, beat 'em up, drag 'em up, old school brawl. Like, I'm not talking like Daryl loses his machete and it comes down to fists. And they're punching each other. And the great thing about this fight is their punches symbolize their strength and their battle and their convictions. You can tell. And I mean, this dude Beta is pounding him. He's pounding back. You can see blood coming, like, from this mask. All that's open is his face. There's blood down his beard. It's gnarly. And, you know, Daryl is kind of getting the upper hand. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Beta, his will wins out. And it's a great look at how strong of a belief each character has that they're doing the right thing. The symbolism in this episode and how they set it up with each of them, and it's from their perspective, who they choose to side with, right? It's a battle of which side either side might not be right or wrong, but it's a battle of what these essentially lieutenants feel about their captains. It's whose will win the day. And of course, Daryl's the main character. So spoiler alert if you haven't, but I guess you probably figure there's 16 episodes. This is like episode 14, okay? Or maybe 13 because there's only 3 episodes left, but this is a great setup. So, you know, they're not going to kill a main character. They're going to wait either 15 or 16 to off someone. And he picks up a lead pipe, and there's a scene in the comics where someone gets killed with a lead pipe and it starts a whole war. But I'm thinking it's not Daryl because I don't think they're going to take Daryl out, which is not. But Beta proceeds to mess him up pretty good. And despite that, as he's getting ready to deal the killing blow, Daryl looks up at him and says, "Do what you gotta do." And I don't know, I think it's like a mutual respect. In that moment, you see these guys, these two titans, okay? One slightly bigger than the other, but they're two warriors at heart, staring each other's eyes. And that is when Beta realizes that this guy has conviction. This guy will literally die for his cause, and he will feel justified. But how do you take away someone's spirit? Don't kill him. Leave him with the loss, because the loss weighs heavier than actually taking his life. So, in an epic maneuver, he basically broke his body and throws him down an elevator shaft. It is one of the most poignant scenes that I've seen in this show. Probably one of the best, like, statements about how tough and how powerful of a will these two characters have, and some pretty fine writing, if I do say so myself. So yeah, this episode was a great episode, great entry, and I really hope that they end the last 3 episodes strong like this one. Because most of them have been filler, okay? Most of the episodes you fall asleep. It's so boring. And this is the problem with The Walking Dead. They need more standalone episodes like this, where you see the contrast between characters and get off the love stories and the drama, because no one cares about that in the apocalypse world. I assume you don't have time for that. So it was good to see them get back to the roots of what the show started as. So if you haven't checked it out, I'm sure you can go on to AMC, you can DVR it, you could probably even see a clip of it on YouTube, but just watch that fight. Brilliant writing, and definitely large character development. And you know, here on this channel, I always talk about character development is key when you're telling a story. So anyways, that is The Walking Dead. I want to say it's episode 13. I forgot the title. I want to say it's Beta is the name of the title, or something to that effect. And a brilliant episode. Definitely worth a quick watch if you got nothing to do. It's a good hour killer. And the best part is you really don't have to watch the rest of the season to understand what's going on, because I just highlighted it for you. So anyways, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you at the movies.